the first impression was that here was a group of boys who just immediately got involved with this equipment. They were involved in problem-solving activities. They had to strategise. They had to discuss it, work collectively, collaboratively. They were kind of picking up the pieces and sort of figuring it all out. I think it was the immediate kind of interaction with the equipment that impressed me really. Learning is about sort of key competencies mostly for us, in terms of how kids process what they do and think about what they do. It's not just about sort of literacy and numeracy, it's about other kind of thinking skills. And also it's about working together collaboratively. And the minute I saw these boys engaging with this kind of equipment, I could just see all of the sort of curriculum links immediately there for me straight away in terms of language and maths and technology and science and so forth. So, the opportunities for learning were obvious straight away to me. It just became very clear very quickly to me. I think language is key. It's definitely got a big language base to it, but straight away I've got teachers who are saying to me this is a mathematical activity, this has got scientific potential, it's definitely technological. And if you're looking at things like the health and PE curriculum where kids have to work together collaboratively, you just see links to all the curriculum areas there very easily. Absolutely, yeah. I think that's one aspect I didn't mention was that the fact that they actually had to manipulate the material, and there were some very fine motor skills that happened there, some more gross motor skills happened. I think the variety of having the big pieces of equipment is good. I think that's a good starting point, particularly for boys. But then they had to sort of think about these small joining things, and there were some quite tricky kind of logistical things they had to do. So yeah, I think there's a good range of motor skills there. Yeah. The teacher said to me that she uses it as a maths activity. Okay. So one maths group would work on it for maybe an hour and a half. That would be their kind of activity. Then they have to report back to the class what they've done and talk about it in a mathematical context, okay? In terms of shapes and all the things that they've done from a mathematical perspective. Another teacher said to me that she let a group of kids work on it for a whole afternoon, and she just observed them talking, working together, problem solving, and she, like me, was actually amazed. This was the same group of boys who had worked earlier with us, John and I. So the feedback from the teachers is this is a great piece of equipment. I mean, there's initially it's like, where do I store it? But now they've worked out the storage issue. And I think part of it is also that the kids are looking after it really well. So if they're in the middle of a construction, they can leave that up until the next day. If not, then they've already worked out systematically how to pack the stuff away, and that's all part of managing it. So the teachers are finding that it's fitting into the classroom well. They can easily adapt it to their programs. They're managing the logistics of storing it. So the feedback's been totally positive from most teachers. Well, I think the biggest part of it is the collaborative, the cooperative group activities they're doing. Because you don't have a peaceful classroom if your kids don't have good relationships with each other. And these kids working together in this way have created a really positive learning atmosphere. Now, I could easily envisage a teacher just slotting quietly into that and just listening to the kids talking, picking up what the interactions were about, what the learning was, and kind of prompting and scaffolding a bit more learning. I think that setting up that collaborative, cooperative environment is like a precursor to a good learning environment. And the fact that this group of boys who, don't always get along so peacefully, they're often quite fractious, and they beat the hell out of each other on the rugby field at lunchtimes. But the fact that they can just sit together, 6 or 8 of them sit together, and create this learning environment, I think that's the key to any sort of learning, is having the right environment with those relationships and interactions. So that's where I see the potential for it. Well, there's some obvious ones like hands-on, practical, problem-solving activities, collaborative learning environment, using the key competencies, cross-curricular application. But I think the key one would be building learning relationships. I think communication skills and building learning relationships. I think to me, they're the strongest kind of parts of the sort of aspects of the resource appeal to me. I don't have any hesitation in recommending it to other people. It was almost quite refreshing in a way that we just went into it with a sort of no agenda, just an open kind of situation. Because I think that allowed it to show its potential really. Interesting.